Hello, everyone. Pastor George here with our Tuesday Theolog. And the reason I'm doing this topic today is one, because I think like the church should take the lead on education on lots of issues, not just what the Bible has to say about things. But two, it's something that I fell into recently, and it's all over the place right now because of the war in Ukraine that's going on. And this is like misinformation or disinformation online. And I think like the church actually has something really good to say, especially to people who are Christians on this type of thing, because we are just as susceptible to it as anyone else. And especially because like, just like other people, like we have our tribe. And if we look inside of our tribe for things, we can usually trust other people because they come from, the same group that we do. And what caused it is I was looking at, I was on Twitter, and I'm sure you guys have seen this stuff on Facebook too, where people have been like sharing stuff from the front lines of Ukraine. And I saw this one video, and I was like, oh wow, that's really touching or whatever. But then it turned out that it wasn't at all from Ukraine and comes like from a few years ago, and just stuff like that. And I went, well, this is something I've dealt with. Obviously, we all kind of deal with it, and it's only going to get worse, I think, as technology gets better. But the thing is like there is a joy in this, and a love of truth that we can do when we go seeking out real information. And especially like we live in such a blessed age where we can just have so much information at our fingertips. It's just crazy. So I just wanted to like share some tips that I use to kind of go through this stuff, because I know like people at the church have shared stuff with me that's turned out to be false. And it's fine. It happens to all of us, and this is just like the best way to do it. So I have like 6 things here that I've written down that are really helpful if you're looking to get rid of disinformation, or like to be careful online and stuff like this when it comes to seeking thing out. So the first thing is like anytime you see a headline, you have to remember headlines are meant to draw your eye, right? And they're meant to be sensational. I think like the New York Post is probably the best example of this. And just because a headline is sensational doesn't mean it's wrong. But what you want to do is you want to corroborate it, right? Like you want to like seek out another way of telling that story from another news source. So you can go to, either the Christian, Post and New York Times and Wall Street Journal or whatever, and you can see kind of what the story is, even if one of them is portraying it in a really like unhinged or over the top light, right? So, one of the other things to do, and that's the second part, is checking your sources, right? You want to make sure that who you're going after here, who you're quoting is reliable. It doesn't mean that all sources have their bias, so it doesn't mean that if they're known for being a somewhat biased source that they're inherently wrong. But you want to make sure that usually by checking against other things that it's a good thing. One of the best ways to do this is to take 2 kind of different sources and see like where they line up. And I think this is the same thing if you're just going to like it or comment on it, because that boosts the article, even if you aren't sharing it necessarily with anyone. Like that actually boosts it. I think as Christians we have a duty to the truth, so we should try and not boost false information when we can, right? The third one, and this is really important because I know some people who have spent less time on the internet can kind of get tricked by this or don't know the technology as well as some of us. But seeing isn't believing. All right, it isn't like Jesus and Thomas where it's like touch my side or whatever. If you see any image on the internet, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily wrong, but it does mean that it could be doctored, right? And videos can be edited. I worked in film. You can edit a video into making someone kind of say whatever they wanted. And especially now they have like these AI programs which are called deep fakes that can just take your face and your images and your voice and like kind of make you sound like you're saying anything. It's actually, if it wasn't so scary and dystopian, it's really cool. For those of you who are a little bit more tech savvy, a good way to check if an image is good is you can like copy and paste it and put it in Google Images, and you can type it in. You'll see like every instance it's been used. Also, for people who do online dating, if you're ever worried about being catfished, you can do the same thing with images of people that you see on dating sites. And if they're pulled from some website online, it's not a real person. So there you go. Never happened to me, but I know that's a good thing to do. This is for all of us, but especially for us Christians. Don't believe things just because a Christian said it, right? That just because someone who is a pastor or from a Facebook page online that's ostensibly for Christians. A lot of things are just used as a way of generating like traffic and revenue for people. Um, so just because Christians uh, say something, it doesn't mean it's true, right? This is something like we know inherently, but we gotta be more careful about it. The fifth one is to actually read articles. I can't tell you the amount of times that it's been great on Twitter or other places, seeing someone like share an article and getting so upset at the headline, only to find out that like the whole article agrees with what they're saying or whatever. Really, there isn't anything more embarrassing than that. So actually read what you're going to send to someone, or else you're gonna end up kind of looking pretty dumb. And the last one is, and this is kind of the most difficult, but you have to do it. You have to admit when you're wrong. So if you share something that is incorrect or wrong, the best thing to do is just say, "Whoops, that was a mistake. I'm sorry. I didn't do my homework. I didn't do my due diligence. You may do a mea culpa, and you try to move on." And the reason this is important, right, is that we are called to go after the truth, right? We're called to speak the truth in love to people, right? Jesus tells us that if you know the truth, once you know the truth, you shall be set free, right? And so that's not just theological deep meaning, right? But God is in all truth, right? Because God, is just and is true. And so we should want to seek that out, and we love other people by seeking it out, right? So imagine how much cleaner, and this is such a utopian thing. All right, I'm not really serious about this, although it's wonderful to think what would happen. How much cleaner and better social media would be if people actually did this type of stuff, right? It'd be a lot better. The world would probably be a lot better. And so we as Christians have a duty not only to ourselves, not only to our churches, right, but also to our neighbors, to seek out what is true and what is good. And so I just want to say that like these are some helpful things to do, and especially as this war continues, and I know we all are dreading this already, but election time is coming again. You might not think so, but it's right around the corner. And so we're going to get into a political season pretty soon here. And all sides will do this type of thing. And so as Christians, it's really important not to embarrass ourselves and therefore embarrass the faith by carrying ourselves in ways that aren't good. So those are just some 6 tips that you can use to clean up your internet a little bit and make sure you're doing things that are good and true. All right, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for our Bible study recap. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.